Hello, welcome to the channel. If you're new here, I'm Nathan, and in behind me here is my 2010 BMW E35D, which you know, if you watched the last video, I bought for $1,500, which is an absolute steal, considering this vehicle only has 140,000 kilometers on it. But of course, there was a reason for that, and that's because of all the Christmas tree lights on the dash. That is what's causing this vehicle to really not be happy. Most of it's related to the emissions, so I decided I am going to delete it, but I'll get to that later in the video. But in order to get this thing on the road and make it roadworthy, I need to at least fix a number of things here right now. And one of those things is the right rear speed sensor, which I have a new one right here. But before I replace that, before I fix that speed sensor, I actually want to fix the vacuum pump housing. It's leaking quite a bit here, and I'd rather do it when the car is perfectly level on the ground here. But this vacuum pump here, I did that on my 35D, and it wasn't that bad of a job, and I have the exact same kit I'm going to use to fix this one as well. Now in that kit, you actually have 3 gaskets, which replaces all of them that you need. First, we'll take off this one. And I think there's just 2 13mm bolts holding it in. All right, I think it's ready to come out. Okay, there we have it. Be very careful when taking this cover off here. That's the olds. All right, let's go with the new gasket here. These things do fall off. You have to just put them back the way you found them. Okay, there's one more seal on the actual vacuum pump itself, and it's this one right here. And it is dry. I think this is where the leak was actually coming from. This one is definitely crunchy. Yeah. Nice new one. Just gonna use a little bit of oil. And voila, just like that. With all new gaskets on, this one here, the one inside here, and then the one on here. It's just ready to go back on. And I even cleaned it up a little bit too. It's now time to get onto the rear right speed sensor. In order to do that, I'm going to jack up the side here. With the wheel off, it's not that bad. Rotors are good, no lip. Even the brake pad here on the outside is okay. But as you can see, there's so much mud in here. I mean, I did pressure wash what I could reach before, but I'm gonna have to do this all over again.
And just look at the difference. That's a lot of weight savings right there.
So I've already disconnected the speed sensor here. So I'm just gonna follow it here and replace it. You know, I wouldn't be surprised if it was just a bunch of dirt that had caused this to not read the actual speed. Besides all finished up, all I have to do is torque down the wheel. But before I do that, I'm actually gonna do the other side of the vehicle. And although I wasn't getting any codes for this side, I'm sure it was going to happen eventually, so I might as well replace it. It'll give me a good excuse to give the wheel arch a good cleaning because I missed quite a bit of the dirt in there. But of course, I won't make you guys watch that. I'm actually just going to jack up the car. I'll show you what the dirt was like before and after, but that's it. And just like the other side, this side is just as filthy. It's like this thing was off-roading or something. So I'm going to get that a good clean right now. So I got my OB scanner plugged into the vehicle, and as you can see, I still have some lights there on the instrument cluster. So now I'm just going to go into Pro Tools, scan it, and then clear it, and then check it again. I still see a bunch of traction lights on the dash. So now we'll just see why I started up and what happens. Well, there you go. Not nearly as many lights as before, which is great. Now let's also go check to see how that vacuum pump is doing, make sure it's not leaking. Looks nice and dry. All right, let's go for a drive and see how well it does. I wouldn't be surprised if the check engine light comes back though for the DPF and all the other stuff, but if I at least fix the ABS nonsense, I'll be happy. So I'm actually gonna fill this thing up with diesel, even though diesel just went up significantly over to $2 a liter, which is crazy. I'm just thinking how much better this vehicle will be once it's been deleted. I think it will be a night and day difference as well. I mean, obviously sound for sure, but just the way its response is from the engine will be so much better. It will be less restricted. That's pretty much everything for now until I get this thing into the specialist to get the emissions deleted. So I will catch you guys in the next clip. Good morning, everyone. You join me in the early hours of the morning. I'm currently driving the 3 Series here towards work. Before I do that, I have to drop it off for its deletion, and I'm very stoked about that because I can't wait to see the difference and feel the difference that it's going to make after all the emissions nonsense is gone. Okay, car, you better be on your best behavior. And when I come back, I don't want any more check engine lights.
2 weeks later.
Well, I got the car back, but there's a couple things to mention. One is that it actually took a bit longer than I thought it was going to take to do the delete. And the second most crucial thing, which I thought was going to be done, was a full delete. Now, I'm not so upset about it taking long, but unfortunately, I'm left now to do the rest of the delete. The delete I paid for, which came to almost $2,400 Canadian, was just the tune and just the DPF removal. That was it. So that includes the downpipe, but that's only it. There's no EGR, no swirl flaps, which I initially thought was part of the deal, but no big deal. I mean, it's just a little bit extra added cost on top of that $2,400 now, bringing the total to just over $2,600 for a full delete on this thing. So that's what we're gonna do now. We're gonna do the EGR delete, and we're also gonna do the swirl flap delete as well. Some of you can already just spot the obvious that the intake manifold has already been off, and the fact that I have the radiator fan out as well. And that's because I've been doing some other work on this vehicle, and you'll see it in other videos. But right now, I'm gonna remove this EGR cooler here, and in order to do that, having the radiator fan removed makes it a lot easier to get in and see what you're doing. All right, although it doesn't seem like it was that long ago that I did the EGR delete on my X5 35D, it still feels long enough that I don't remember exactly how I did it down to a T, so we're gonna have to just do it little by little here. Then I'm just gonna remove this cooling pipe right at the top, and it's probably gonna leak. But I do have some rags just covering the belt because I don't want to get any coolant on that. And I don't know if this is gonna work if I'm just sliding this on in its place here without getting in the way of the EGR cooler, but I'm gonna try that first and see if that will be okay. Now I did bring some red solo cups because I thought maybe I might need them, but we'll see. Ah, great, I broke right at the top, lovely. Let's quickly get this in its place. I find the best way to take this connection off is actually just using one of these tools here. This is actually just for trim removal, which is fine. And just like that, came off. And then I got a little black plastic cap, and just like that. It's never meant to exist. Now there's another cooling pipe down here at the bottom end. Now, if my memory serves me correctly, it's T45s that hold the EGR in. All right, that's free. Leaking flange here. And now this new one that goes in its place. Now that I have the EGR cooler gone, I now have to put this blocking plate in its place, so it's just in behind there. Well, everything was going great until I realized I broke this piece off. Lovely. And BMW doesn't make it so you can only just buy a certain part of the hose. You have to buy this whole piece here that runs all the way to the back. So, looks like I'm set back at least another few days until I get this part in. The joys of working on these cars. New upper cooling hose has been installed, and $275 later, I'm pleased to say that it's held in pretty well so far, so hopefully I don't jinx it and break it again. So here's the intake manifold, which I took off for a future job, and that was carbon cleaning. And in doing that, I also removed all the old gaskets here. And honestly, they're pretty crunchy. Like this one here is not that bad, but some of these other gaskets for here were pretty bad. Same with these ones as well. I also took out the swirl flaps, which were pretty gross too. So now all I've left to do is install these blanking plates right here into these spots, which I'm going to use the old hardware, but these are actually plastic and they're not metal, which I'm actually kind of surprised that they're not metal, but oh well, they will work pretty well. So I just use a little bit of silicone grease, so now I'm going to just put them into place here, just like that. Now I'm just going to put all the screws back in, and we'll call that done.
With the new gaskets on the intake manifold, I'm going to get this thing reinstalled.
After reinstalling the intake manifold and bleeding the fuel system, which seemed to take forever, just like my X5 35D when I did it on that vehicle, I'm pleased to say that the 3 Series here is now out in the road. And I don't know if it's a placebo effect, but it definitely feels like it definitely has a little bit more juice than it did when all the other stuff was there, including the EGR cooler and also the swirl flaps. Now, I'm on the highway now, and it's got some torque. This thing is definitely a torque monster. Oh yeah. With the deletion on this vehicle now complete, I'm so happy with how it turned out. Yeah, it was a little bit more extra work on my part, a little bit, but it is what it is. Can't change that. So I'm pretty happy to say that everything's been done and that I can move on. And now in the next video there, I know I hinted at it earlier in this one, the carbon cleaning, and you'll see that all in the next episode. So if you did enjoy today's video, please be sure to hit the thumbs up button and also consider subscribing, that way you don't miss any future content like this and other car approaches and car reviews on my channel. And until next time, take care. Bye now.